For me, being an artist means to be able to express certain ideas or ask certain questions or to otherwise communicate in a way that language can fall short. So what art does for me is it allows me to use this language that I'm more comfortable with using in order to express ideas that I wouldn't be able to in any other fashion. For me, art also is interesting in that whenever we use language to communicate something, it's a very direct message. So most of the things that I say to you right now are really much easier to interpret than if I had painted a picture of what this explanation would be. Let me think. Art is a way of communicating what I feel like I need to communicate with the world. And since the way I think is so visual, it comes very naturally to me. I have been doing art since I was really young. So on top of all of that, for me, these visual languages I was more proficient in them to start off with. So my whole thing is that I never wanted to go to art school. And that came from a conversation that I had with a contemporary artist. Her name is Julia Moretu. And I met her when I was in the 8th grade. I went to an exhibition of hers and she was there signing books. And I had a little mini conversation with her about how I liked art. And she said, don't go to art school. And I was like, oh, I'm 14. I'm like, what, why? Yeah. That wasn't really necessarily even on my radar to start considering. I wasn't even in high school yet. And she said, don't go to art school because you can always learn how to make art, but you can never really learn how to be human. And so that really influenced me. So I started looking at other schools, and I had always had interests in other subjects. Art just happened to be something that I couldn't not do. I didn't know how to not be doing art. So I showed up to Wake and I wanted to do biology because that was a subject that I thought was super interesting. There's a super funny conversation that I had with my mom, when I got my biology, when I told her that I was going to do, my biology minor, and she's like, what are you going to do with biology? Because it's, the opposite of what most parents have with their kids. Normally kids are like, Mom, I'm going to be an art major, and they're like, what are you going to do with art? For me, it was the opposite with my parents, because I think they saw that I had an interest and a talent and a deep desire to make artwork. It was always sort of a part of me, but whether that was going to turn into my profession was always something that I sort of fought with, because people tell you all the time that you can't do that. But at the same time, I was like, but I need to do it. And so for me, that was sort of a fight the whole time. And I think it really hit me when I decided to, when I declared my major and decided with biology that it was going to be a minor. I think that was my big moment when I was like, I'm going to stick with this all the way through, because I realized that I couldn't ever not do it. It just I couldn't get enough of it, and that's how I kind of decided. I was like, okay, it doesn't matter how much money I make afterwards. It doesn't matter how hard it is. I clearly can't not do this. And it was a very passionate sort of realization. I feel like art at Wake Forest is a little bit different to me than art in a more generalized context, but not by too much. Creating art at Wake Forest has been an interesting experience because, it's not an art school, it's interdisciplinary, and you have students from all different types of backgrounds and interests and majors who I interact with on a day-to-day basis, and I feel as if art at Wake has so much potential to influence all of the students who would otherwise not be interested in art. So I feel somewhat of a responsibility as an art student and as a person who wants to advocate for the arts and, to share the potential of art and how important it is in today's society. And in history, and just important to know in general. I believe that art is just as important as science or business or history or any of the other subjects that we study at school here.